days you work, one whole day to play. Come on, everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday,
Saturday with Renee.
Yes, welcome back, everybody, to Black Liberation Media, an episode, I think is this 145 uninterrupted editions of Saturdays with Renee, featuring Renee Johnston. I'm Jared Ball. Please like, share, subscribe, support the Patreon. QR code up there in the corner. Put this in your socials. Invite others to join you every day.
Man,
how you feeling?
Listen. So we're taking a wall down in our house. And they got here at like 7:30. And the house is like 70 years old. So not like super, super old, but old enough that like we're realizing that what we thought were like load-bearing posts are actually just like pieces of 2x4 like stacked together and not really load-bearing. And so this process is like what I tell you.
I'm no architect or engineer, but that doesn't sound right.
Listen, I just looked at and I was like, there is no way this is holding the ceiling up. Like there has to be a post above this. This has to be all decorative. Like there's no way. There's no way. No way. Madness. But these are first world problems. And so, you know, I'm trying not to get myself too caught up because it's chaos.
You know, I mean, we do make jokes, but the reality is, you know, we live the lives we lead.
Right.
And yes, it's at times important to remember it's not as bad for us as others, but in some moments, I think it's important to recognize, look, I'm struggling a little bit. I don't want to deny a little, you know, just because I know there are a lot of people who have it worse doesn't mean that in this particular moment, I'm having an issue.
Right. I'm just hoping it's not super loud, and also hoping that this whole presumption that it's not load bearing is accurate, and so the ceiling don't fall in like while we're
yeah. Well, but yeah, I mean, you know, all the time I think about, you know, like you know, yeah, anyway, I don't want to go too far in that, but I was just, you know, just sometimes I reflect on how much we expect of someone in the moment of certain trauma to think, to stop and say this group or that person or someone else is you know, sometimes this is having it worse. That's not entirely realistic at every moment. That's all. So
definitely.
And yeah, we do hear it. We hear it, you know. But the good news is the assumption is kind of like what they say about pain, that if you feel pain, you know you're still here. If we hear noise and we hear the banging, we know Renee's house is not collapsed.
Facts, it hasn't collapsed. But I will do my best to remember to stay on mute so that there's like as little noise as possible. And we have a limitation. Our guests can only stay for an hour, so we have to make sure.
I didn't realize that. Okay, well let's get to it.
That's because you don't read emails. You don't read emails.
I miss a lot of stuff.
I know.
You
listen. You made the link. You sent the link. I don't really ask you to do. I don't really be looking for you to do too much. That is the core of the work that has to get done for this to happen.
What was that? Was that an SNL sketch years ago where it was, you know, lowered expectations?
Definitely.
I just try to bring them down a little bit and then I can satisfy them. So, But well, let's get to it. I had the pleasure, because I had some time a couple weeks ago to do an initial introductory short interview to sort of tease out this longer one. But I think in general, as often as we get a chance to hear from people like Greg and candidates like this, as I've understood, part at least of our mission on Saturdays is to expand the range of discussion and debate around electoral politics. I'm happy to do it. So to the extent that there is any echoing, let that be the case, because we need to make that happen. So
listen, I made sure to watch, and so I took my notes. I will be sure to tease you greatly about how graciously you just accepted your flowers that day. Like,
oh yeah, no,
there was no Han. I was very proud of you, Jared. You were just like, thank you, that's dope. I was like, look at you accepting flowers and just being pleased by it instead
just
of
trying to speed past it. Let's move on. But all right, well, let's go. Let's bring Greg back up to the stage. Greg, it's good to see you again. The link to the campaign website is already in the show description. I think I am again ahead of the game, at least a little bit here. So folks, avail yourself of that. And Greg, welcome to Saturdays. Peace. Good to see you again. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, my people, man? How y'all doing, man? I'm so excited to be here today. So, I mean, I know how it is. I gotta touch my feet. I gotta introduce myself and all that. But I just wanted to shout out Renee. Renee, like, man, I'm so happy to meet you for the first time. And I was talking to Claudia last week, and she just gushed about.
That's my sis, man. I love her.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Shout out to you. And as a real, I'll be in the chat. I just, like, I'm old enough where, like, my typing is so terrible that I can't really, like, contribute in real time. Y'all know what I mean. I can't contribute like I want to, but as somebody that's been a part of the community for a long time, I just wanted to say, Renee, like, I really appreciate you, the whole struggle that you went through in that school, standing up for Palestine, solidarity. It is an honor to be amongst folks like you. So shout out to Renee.
Appreciate that.
And I just want to throw in there real quick that unfortunately that's not entirely past tense. So more we don't, so Renee deserves credit for its the reverberating ongoing impact of that choice and that political decision. So but anyway, I just wanted to go ahead, Renee. Go ahead. My bad.
That's all good. I appreciate you. Thank you, Greg. And one of the reasons I needed to make sure I watched it is because all week when I was saying you were coming on, I realized that I had no idea if you were Levy, Levi. Like, so I was like, I had to make sure that I watched it.
You see, I just called him Greg this time because I said it wrong the first time, and he just politely corrected it when he said his name.
I've been hearing it all my whole life. It's not even
listen.
And given my background, I definitely I meant to bring this up when we met the first time. I definitely want to talk about how that name got there. Like, I know we don't have, it's outside maybe that's why I didn't want it.
That's an interesting conversation. I actually think that my family, like, a lot of times it's just misspellings, because I didn't know till recent years, like, kind of found my paternal family in the South, which is out of Moultrie, Georgia. Because I got a cousin that lives right around the corner from me, and she's older, but she spells it L-E-A-B-Y. And that's the correct spelling. Something happened that when we migrated up here, we just took Levy, and we say Levy, even though it's properly Levy. And I got cousins that are Levies. So shout out to the Levies in Moultrie, Georgia. What's up, family?
That's crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have to circle back. We have to figure out, like, a way to do all these, like, return conversations with folks, because I'm also convinced that Andre Easton and I are, like, somehow related, because I feel like all Jamaicans are related, like, if you go far back enough. But he literally grew up where my grandparents used to live. And so I'm like convinced that our families either knew each other or something. So, but we have to figure this whole thing out, because there's all these conversations that I want to have about like those origin stories, like, you know, like figuring all this stuff out. You know, I've been trying to track my lineage. It's a disaster. The family's all over the place. We're pretty sure we're somehow connected to the Maroons in Jamaica. We have like there's so much. But anywho, let me not get us too distracted. Greg, if you can, for the people, introduce yourself, where you're at, where you're from, why you're here, and give a little bit about why you decided to join this to start this campaign. Outside of everyone being fully clear that PSL literally voluntold you, like you're gonna be the one, but why you said yes is probably the better answer.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. So my name is Greg Levy. I'm just a kid from Akron. Dr. Jeb, you say Jeb, I'll say Jeb. All of the slander that LeBron gets, but I mean, we're gonna have to address that too, like for sure. But I'm from Akron, Ohio. I got two parents that are from Cleveland. Though. I got deep Cleveland roots. Both of my grandparents are from Cleveland, and I live in Cleveland now, and that's where I organize and stuff. I really, I'm just the third of six kids of George and Miyoshi Levy. I grew up working class background. My dad was worked at Ford, and my mom, they were teenage parents back in the era where like teenage parents lived together in the projects. I was actually born in a housing project, like actually physically born in a housing project, Joey Park. Shout out to Joey Park Projects in Akron, Ohio. And I'm just a working class kid that has lived life and through being a worker and struggle has found the need to connect myself to revolutionary, radical Black struggle. And it's been largely, it's something that has been an evolution in my life. I like to say I was like poverty drafted into the Navy. So I went to the Navy, really not a plan. It's just a result to like conditions that were happening. But through my experiences of like being all over the world and just experiencing stuff and just really struggling, it's led me to recognize the need for folks from our community to take up our generation's mantle towards struggle. And largely that's been, from when this project was started as BPM, I've been tuned in, and it's been really helpful in enlightening me to a lot of resources. The individuals that, Jackie Lukeman telling me to organize is really got my wheels turning into understanding that, yeah, I actually need to be a part of an organization rather than being a person that's online talking a lot of shit. Like, like we actually need to be doing stuff. We need to be producing things in the actual world. And there's a certain type of, intellectual quality and theoretical, like we need to learn stuff and we need to know stuff, but actually through struggle is when we actually know stuff. It's a whole different level of knowledge. So I've been organizing with the PSL here for several years. I'm a cultural worker. I'm the co-founder of the Roasting Singers, which is, we call it Cleveland's Revolutionary Gospel Choir. But really what it is an opportunity to organize our community. It's aimed at Black folks. We're trying to get in front of regular working class Black folks and raise the consciousness of our community and try to create different layers of organization so that we can intervene actually in the community. One of the things that I did early in, my organizing development, is I decided to intervene in some of the police killings that happen in this area, because that's something that has really affected me as a father to a son, as a person who's been arrested myself and kidnapped and abused by the police myself. And I've admired people's work towards that end, but also been very frustrated in like what what have we done with that? Like, what have we materially changed in our community? And in the Midwest, police violence is it's out of control. So I wanted to dip my finger in the water and see if we can build some organization around that cause to make it more difficult for people to just be killing our kids out here. And in doing that, one thing I know, because I grew up in the church really heavy, is that, like, if church leaders and church communities would just do the bare minimum of being open to organizing against police violence, that would really help to culminate the community. So I had to try. And in doing so, I realized how disorganized our community actually is. It's actually a lot of antagonism, right? I mean, the police communities, various establishment, the Democratic Party, Republican Party, they have a lot of influence over our community organizations, and the folks in leadership, they know not to cross that, and they slow-footed, and I experienced that myself. So really, the Rosen Singers to me was a response to that. It's like, how can I use my tools and my skills or what have you to like just kind of like intervene, because I know for a fact that the people, like the community itself, they have real feelings about when the police come in and slaughter our children. So it's just making these types of interventions, and like that process has been amazing. Other different iterations of trying to just grow working class power and grow consciousness in our community towards a more radical and positive end. Just trying to raise our community's imaginations about what's possible. Just to reflect on where we've been as a community, what some of our heroes have done, and not just passively allow that legacy to be dimmed. I feel like in Cleveland specifically, we have a very radical history, and it's been suppressed. It's been there's a lot of stuff that is happening. A lot of people in prison, a lot of political prisoners. There's been a lot of effort to suppress that radical Black imagination in Cleveland, and I just humbly want to be a part of the coalition of community members and leaders in the community that bring that back in an iteration that brings out new possibilities towards the future here in Ohio and across the world.
I appreciate that. I'm curious. So one of the things, and I think probably this is one of the beefs that we get a lot from folks who watch when we bring PSL people on, is, there's the road of, we're running campaigns because we want to grow PSL. We want to teach people about socialism. We want to attach this understanding of socialism to the baseline of liberation being the precondition for existence, right? And I'm curious, how do you resolve that? Because based on the conversation that you had with Jared and what I'm seeing with the work that you're doing, like, you're really running a campaign, which is similar to what I see happening in Massachusetts. And I'm just curious about the resolution to, we are a organization, a political party, a political education group, but we are also trying to see if we can have an actual impact politically on the decisions and policies that are being made within certain areas.
Man, that's a terrific question. I feel like that's it's a pivotal type of question, because the methodology that goes into that, it's like people question, like, coming into the public sphere. I'm not a person has ran. I didn't think of that as a career path for myself. It's just literally as a result of me being engaged in organizing work. But being the actual person that is a spokesperson for my party and a spokesperson for the working class movement has put me in a place to kind of answer questions. And so, like, what I always think about is, right, we need to run our campaigns to win. That's necessary. Like, we have to show professionalism. We have to actually run to win, right? We have to have maximum impact towards whatever end, towards winning elections and actually like galvanizing like actual direct power. And we also have to like have strong theoretical basis. Like we have to actually know our stuff, and we need to be productive organizers and logical and all this stuff. And so the questions always come like, are you building a party or are you going to win? Well, in reality, we have to do both. We have to run to win, and we have to run with actual like a logic that actually affects the world in a positive way. So I when I deal with this, like like lots of people in the comments, there's tons of criticism, and I welcome it all. But like at the end of the day, I just try to stay focused on like the prize. Like, what are we doing? What are we creating in the world? Like, what's the purpose? Like, and do it to the best of our collective ability and my ability as an individual. So like, I feel like what challenges me is like, I feel like it's a yes and situation. Like, it's like, we need to run to win. We need to have thought processes towards winning. We need to project professionalism and a spirit of being winners. Like to really grow people's imaginations towards the future, a radically different, revolutionary, transformational future. And we got to deal with the restraints of the present at the same time, and we can't choose our way out of it. And so I just kind of just try not to get bogged down in a conversation when we have to do so much. We have to really get to our people, and we have to win over the working class. At the end of the day, I think that's what this is all about. It's about like actually growing working class power. And so, I mean, I'm not an expert in everything, and I love to hear what people have to say and to grow my outlook into it. And I feel like as a collective, us with PSL, we definitely are studying, and we're coming together and trying to multiply that knowledge together. But I mean, that's what I got.
No, I appreciate that, and I was really looking for that both and versus or conversation, right? So okay, I can hear the hum now. Somebody just said it. So Greg, if you could for me mute when you're not, because I think it's your mic humming when you're when other people
damn,
talking.
I didn't hear
that.
It? My bad.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's all good. So I appreciate that, because like I said, I think this conversation of not understanding that in order to run candidates and in order to keep a party viable politically, you have to do this on the groundwork in between, right? And so part of the process has to be growing what you're doing outside of just like running the candidate. There has to be also this work to grow the party. Uncle Truth is asking what I think is a really good question. Why not fold the PSL into your Green Party for one big line? I actually don't agree that you need to do this. I think one of the things that we do very poorly as a country with electoral politics is this folding of everything into one piece. Like, I say it all the time, like what we're dealing with right now with the duopoly is two cheeks of the same ass. And I don't see the purpose in folding multiple parties into one large group versus allowing parties to work separately, working towards the same end. And if you have Green Party people and PSL people, and if you actually have people working to the same ends, but they're accountable to separate organizations, but the goal is the same, I don't know why it has to be one thing, right? Like, I don't like. So,
but that's know. So that's where I slightly disagree, I think, because the one thing that I would like to advocate is an electoral political party comprised of these other parties that would build their own interests, independent of that electoral option. If the goal is to actually get people seated and maybe to build some broader movement, that would.
But could you not grow a broader movement without merging the parties? because I don't, and
Not
I don't, this
merging
is
the
a
parties.
question.
Just clearly, I'm not saying merge PSL with Green Party. I'm saying have the Green Party and the PSL comprise together, maybe with the Peace and Freedom Party and maybe a few other small, an
100%.
electoral political thing.
100%. And which is why I spend so much time, as you know, Jared, like trying to bring folks in the same room. So in Jersey, almost, I would say 90% of the time, if Green Party is doing something, PSL New Jersey is also in the room. The North Jersey Socialist Party is also in the room. And that's intentional because I want us to have the ability to work towards something and not have it be a conflict. You know, one of the benefits of Jersey is you don't have to live in the district where you run. So you can live in Jersey 3 and run for Jersey 5. So it's a different setup here than it is in a lot of places. So we don't need to have a competition, right? Like if there's someone for PSL who's running in District 2 and we have a candidate who lives in District 2, we can say run in District 3 instead. And we can find a way to support each other and see if both of you can get in. So but that's specific to New Jersey because of the way New Jersey electoral politics and because of the way our election commission works. You know, and in the end, we're all going to have to fight the Democrats who work really, really hard to get us booted off the ballot every single time. Like we have 3 candidates that didn't make the ballot because of this bullshit this year. So, you know, it has to be, I think, an also understanding of folks who are outside of these organizations to understand that this has to be and not or. It has to be growing your party and actually running a campaign, not either or. And I think as I've been watching and talking to PSL folks, and I think I do believe that Claudia and Karina's campaign changed this somewhat, right? I think there has been a larger push overall, not just to grow the party, but to actually run campaigns. There's been a shift, I think, within PSL a little bit after this big thing, you know, like it was major. But I'm glad to hear you say out loud, like, no, we're trying to win. Because I think people often mistake that you're trying to grow a party as a replacement for you're trying to win. And folks have to adjust to the fact that we can walk and chew gum at the same time, as they often use as a thing. You know what I'm saying? Greg, so being in Ohio, what can you talk about, like what you're doing like within your state as part of your campaign? Like, you know, Andre does his Sundays, he's out on the streets, he's doing the thing. Joe in Massachusetts is traveling all over Massachusetts and participating in different events and such. Talk about what your campaign looks like on the ground.
Well, I appreciate that question. I hope that humming has gone down a little bit. So, our campaign has been super busy. We already we did a speaking tour. So we went to major cities. We went to Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, and we did a speaking tour with we did a whole product, but we let the community speak, like a town hall type situation afterwards, so we could talk to Ohioans. That was an amazing success. Let me be clear though, I'm a working class person. I work Monday through Friday. I have a laborer's job. I work as a mover. I'm moving furniture. So like, this is the reason why the PSL, let me just shout out my comrades. It's because this is a collective effort. So everything that we do is just like, it's all of us coming together. And so like, I just got to show up and do my part. So every day, like I go to work, I'll get off. I got my team. We will shoot some media. We try to hit up every event of with a bunch of working class folks and try to make little interventions here or there. So I've been super busy. I've been working like just about every day. I got something going on, and I also have my Ropes and Singers project, which is running at the same time. And with that, every Monday we have a rehearsal, which has like an hour political education series, and then we just rehearse and we sing music and what have you. And we do shows all the time. So sometimes that folds in on a Saturday or Sunday. I might have a Ropes and Singers performance here. I'll go ahead and do some other, campaign type situation. I'm all over the place, but I've been crisscrossing all across the state, and I got a fabulous team as far as like PSLers and volunteers from all over the state. We have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. We've really picked up a lot of steam. One thing I tell you, like Ohio is super right. Like this is the thing, like coming into it, my bias when it comes to electoral politics was pretty jaded. I mean, I felt like we really have a lot of organizing work to do on the ground before we get to that point. But it's really being involved with Claudia's campaign that really let me see that like you just don't leave people out on the table. There's just so many people that we can reach. And we can really do a lot. I get it now. So now, and since I've been running this campaign, we've had amazing events, and I got so many. When I see young Black boys coming up to me, being like, "Man, this is my first thing I've ever done that's into politics, and I'm excited about what you guys stand for." Like that is the work that is so important to me, and I've seen that all over the state. And I mean, we've been everywhere in Youngstown. We're crisscrossing the state. In my hometown of Akron, we just had a concert on the 4th. We had like a socialist concert. It was so lit, and so the Ropes and Singers performed. We had a bunch of local artists, full house. Like people are with revolutionary ethics, and I'm just so like I'm here. I see it with my own face. I see how hungry the people are. Like we just need to build up our capability to be able to get with the people, because we know we're not going to get that mainstream push. We have to build it from below to a certain extent and force ourselves on the scene. But in so much as we have the capability to organize for the people respond. The people really, really respond. Our kickoff was amazing. We booked up this big church, and we had almost 1,000 people show up. Like, so I'm saying, like, people in Ohio know what it is, because we all know about the closed down factories. We see, like, the people of Ohio know. They know what time it is when it comes to capitalism. They're not shy about revolutionary politics. It's not us. It's not me as a candidate. It's the material conditions. We just actually have to show up with valid options. We need valid options to show people other than the duopoly.
Sorry, there's a drill going, and I was trying to decide, like, is it so loud that I shouldn't come off mute? Shout out to Youngstown, which randomly I've been to multiple times because my roommate in college was from Youngstown. I used to go home with her. Shout out. But so I appreciate that. And I think somebody in the chat said it, and I feel like it's definitely worth like shouting out. To work every day and run for office, that's a lot of work. Kudos to you. I agree, Leah. That's legit. I don't think people understand how much effort it takes to really organize a thing, right? And it's one of, like, if you've never put together any kind of event yourself, to understand what it takes to pull an entire thing into place so people that you do not know can walk into a room and have an experience that you are expecting them to have. It is a lot of work, and I appreciate that. Yes, plus parenting. And I can't recall if you all talked about if you have a family, and I don't know.
Oh, I love to talk about my family.
Please do.
Oh, yes. I definitely have a family, and I'm super excited because, all right, so I have a mixed family. Like, I had a son who's 27, and my wife has two kids. One of them just graduated from high school, and we have a rising sophomore in high school. And the reason why I talk about it is because I am about to have my first grandchild. So like I'm super excited. But yeah, being a family person is a huge motivation to meet. Yes, like I mean honestly, like my son is so great, and he's a real motivation for me because he's just been a fantastic child. He just graduated from college, he played ball, he did all these things. Like everything that we invested in him, he just really just knocked it out the park. But then I had to really question like the society that we live in, like how unfair it is. What am I doing about it? And I want my children and my children's children to know for a fact I'm trying to stack up my FBI file. I'm trying to be loaded in there. So when they do that Freedom of Information Act on me, they can be like, Dad was in the mix. So I mean, I'm just saying, like at the end of the day, like it's all about the future that we're responsible for, when it comes to our kids. Like, so yes, I'm happy to talk about kids. And I got kids in the house, about to have my first grandchild due in December, Christmas baby or what have you, and I am so excited. So let me jump out there.
That's dope. Congrats. And we have something in common because my son is also a rising sophomore. And so, right, we lined up. That's dope. It's so much of an expectation, and being a parent, I agree. It gives an extra layer of, I need this to be better for them, right? You just want them to have something that's just a little bit. This is the only means of harm reduction that I think is acceptable, right? Like, what you live through as a person, and you want your child to just not experience things to the depth of which you experience them. And if you can reduce any of that harm.
Can I jump in with a little story too? Because my son, he had a longtime girlfriend. At some point, she lived with us for over 2 years. I thought they were going to get married and all of this stuff. But shout out to her, because one day I used to always have these kind of political talks with his girlfriend, and she really kind of put me on Front Street. She was like, well, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing? I'm like, like I really couldn't explain it, and that really checked me. It's like, I'm, like she's a young person and she's great. She just graduated from college and she's doing so fine. Shout out to her, but she really checked me about like what it is that I'm doing, and that really motivated me to like, yeah, man, I need to be about it. Like, it shouldn't be hard to explain to people what you're doing and like the effect that you have on the world. So shout out to the babies. Sometimes they be teaching us for real.
Facts. So when you were on with Jared, you talked about, I know it was quick and brief, but you spoke about the campaign and trying to build within the party. Can you answer two questions for me that I always love to ask PSL people? One, why did you say yes? Because that's a big tap on the shoulder. And I've gotten that tap. And I got to tell you, my answer has been no for like 4 years. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm not. I can't do it right now. So saying yes to running a campaign is that's a big yes to say, right? And after you answer that question, if you could talk about the things that are part of your campaign's platform that you think are the most important things that you want people to walk away understanding about why you're running and what some of the goals are, should you win and actually get into Senate, like what some of the plans are if that happens. We're gonna say when that happens. We're gonna go with when that happens.
When we win. Okay. Appreciate you so much. So the question of like, how did this happen? How did I say yes? That's a good question. Like I said, I'm telling you the truth when I tell you like Claudia, because I never wanted that, to put yourself in the public sphere. Like, to me, I'm a very private person. So like to like subject yourself to all of the critiques and all of the stuff that's just part of being a public figure. It's not something that I would just do. It's because of literally like seeing what it is to organize, right? It's like I care a lot about the organizing work that I'm doing. And to be honest with you, I've gotten so into organizing in terms of like how dedicated I am and how much work I put in my own time that like the campaign is not ramping it up. It's still the same. I would have been over there at, you know, talking to somebody, you know, I work, I really enjoy it. It's very cathartic for me. Like the actual work isn't work. Like that's the thing. Like when you really believe in what you're doing and especially when you get fed the feedback of like positive outcomes, I don't feel like it's difficult. I don't have those like burnout type situations. But also the reality that I've been organizing all of this time, I just didn't know it. Like actually I grew up in church, like in a certain type of way where like my dad was like the organ player at a holiness church. And like I was always there. And I always had to like I'm always assigned. And then so when I was younger and I had my family, I was actually involved in I just basically self did the same thing. Now as a musician, which I spent most of my young years like trying to make it in the music industry. I lived in Atlanta for several years and you know like working at this production, you know, but one of my gigs was like really like most black musicians, we all work at a church so we can get a check. Like, so we'll be involved, like it's part of having steady work or what have you. And I just know that so much. So like the dedication that it comes to always be there on, like I was doing it anyway. Like I've always found something like that to do. So the question of whether I could do it or not really was only, it was a one variable question. What does my wife think? That's 100% what it was. So I talked to the wife. I was surprised. I remember they called me and I was like, did I do something that, you know, I didn't know why, like, you know, folks, big wigs want to talk to me. So once I found out that they were interested in that, it's literally just about my wife because I just respect my wife and she's a private person. And, you know, so like, it's really, does she really feel comfortable with me being, my face being all over the place and stuff like that? But after that, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. So that's, I mean, to me, it's an honor. I'm lucky though, because I mean, I'm at a good age. I'm like, we're all in basically the same age bracket, but like where my life is because my son is like 27, doing very well. Like all of that parental stuff that I had to do, like as a young, I spent a moment as a single parent, and this is my second marriage. You know, I've been in different phases of my life. I've been coaching little league teams and running all over the place. I probably couldn't do it. I would have had to sacrifice something that I wasn't willing to do. But I'm at a point now where like our kids are older. You know, my bonus babies, their father is very present. So like my role with them is just different. Like they're here, but like they're supported. And so I have all this free time. And my wife is much smarter than me and has a much better like career and stuff like that. She's actually busy. So I'm usually like, I got this time. So it's good to be, you know, taking my time and inserting it to something that I think is worthwhile. But to your second question about our program, all right, I'll just start with the first plank on our program, and that's the building an economy for our needs. Right now, I always like to make stuff personal. Like in the early aughts, I lost a house to foreclosure. You know, I'm a young married person with a small child who lost his house to foreclosure, got laid off, watched them bail out the banks, leave us in a lurch. And let me just say, like, as a husband, it's really hard to be a good husband when you're losing your house to foreclosure. And at the same time, my first wife, she had a very intense medical condition that we couldn't get health care at the time because of like the clause, the pre-existing health care condition clause that used to be before Obamacare was put in that. So like I have really experienced the loss of like dignity, like actually what it's like to lose your house. Like and these are struggles that millions of people deal with in isolation, right? And we deal with it like we take it as a notch, like I failed, I did something wrong, or what have you. So like part of what we do is we have to bring to people an analysis that gives them a better understanding. Like actually, who's running society? I mean, the modern day slave owners are these billionaires and a trillionaire now. We have a trillionaire. That's 1,000 billions. So part of our program says we're going to take the 100 largest corporations, seize them, and make them into the people's institutions. We're going to democratize those so that we can guarantee constitutionally a dignified life for all workers in the country. And this shows people that shift in consciousness that we need to have. That actually what we have is a system that is a dictatorship of a very few that have their hands in dictating every part of our lives. And that's the reason why we have this huge budget that never gets questioned, that just goes to violence, militarism, and policing, right? And they can't even consider our needs. So like we need to have programs that actually deal with the scope of the degradation that our society continually produces. And that's a good example. And also, one thing that is near and dear to my heart is the war on Black America. I just have one little story. Like, I'm from Akron, Ohio. I left at 18 years old to join in the military because my parents were going through a hard time. They got a divorce. I'm the third of 6. So I just had to take some pressure off of my mom. So I joined the Navy on a lark, right? Because I was hungry one day and the recruiter's like, hey man, I'll take you. I got you for lunch. He didn't think I'd do good on that test, but I did really good on that test. So I could have any job in the military or what have you. So I ended up joining in the military. That it is what it is. But I remember a story where when I graduated from my A school, which I did like a year of schooling in Memphis, Tennessee, that base is shut down now. But and I finally got to go home on leave, and I picked up my best friend, my childhood best friend, and we drove to my permanent duty station, which was in Washington State. Now we're driving across the whole country, never drove all this far, like or what have you, and we got pulled over in Montana by a state trooper who literally shook us down, took us to an ATM and made us pull out all our money, and we were stuck in the middle of Montana. On my way to the duty station with my papers in with my little, military issue thing, they don't give a crap because that's what our society is. That's like they were trying to pull us over because they thought like, 2 Black kids, they probably selling drugs or what have you. And so they literally like just that understanding of how gangster our situation is, like it lets me know, like this is the thing, we need to end the war on Black America. Black people live in a situation where the fabric of society is against us. Like even if you go with it, if you like, I was joining the military, something I would never do, something I would never advocate for my children doing, but I'm in the military fighting for this empire, and they kidnap me and shake me down. And because that's the state of our society. That is just a little picture of view into like how we're viewed in the society. And absolutely, we need to end the war on Black America, and that's a radical thing. First thing, cut the check. We need to struggle. We need the struggle for reparations to make clear to African people about how this society views us. And we deserve it. So cut the check. And also, we need to fight for community control of policing. We need to have democratic processes where the police, the power is in the hands of the people to determine what happens to police. We the people need to determine that. So these are two of the points that are near and dear that I feel like really show people what this campaign is all about.
Dope. I actually have one of those "Stop the War on Black People" shirts. I can't remember which thing I went to with Claudia, and I was like, "Oh, I like this." So I'm trying to think, was there anything else? We've got like 11 minutes left. I know you have a bunch of other things that you have to do this afternoon. Jared, did you have any other things you wanted to make sure you got in before we let?
I mean, maybe, now that you mentioned it, I mean, I might, if unless you have something you want to prefer to focus on, either one of you, I would be interested in some of the nuance around the argument you have around reparations, and what the likelihood is of that pursuit. Because my initial thought, honestly, is we would be more likely to get the country to elect a socialist president than get the country to vote by 2/3 majority to distribute money only to Black people. And so I'm not saying it's not deserved or a worthy fight. I am saying that what I end up thinking ends up happening is that it becomes, not that you're doing it, but for others, a liberal or even conservative talking point that can attract some attention and get some nominal support, but isn't ever going to go anywhere. And so whether it's the Conyers effort of claiming proudly, I've for 40 years I put the amendment on the vote on the table, it just gets rejected, and now what's her name picking up that argument in Congress. So I'm just curious. And then do you go into detail? Do you follow the Sandy Darity line and come up with the $350,000 amount, or do you have any other thoughts about it? And then lastly, because I also do, my other concern is that we end up seeing for instance, whether the example I just gave, or whether we see the Evanston, Illinois argument, where, a $20,000 home loan is defined as reparations. So maybe you could just flesh out what you mean a little bit by reparations, what is the meaning of the check that you're saying should be cut? How much should the check be? I want to table that for a follow-up and just tease this for a follow-up. I'm happy for that too.
Sure. When it comes to this issue, I think that basically the argument that our society as a whole would be hostile to it. I think that that's reasonable. I agree. I find that to be compelling. Let's look at what is done with the argument for reparations attached to a revolutionary Marxist-Leninist outlook, right? So the argument is already out there. Adolf's folks, all types of reactionary people talking about reparations in a very individualist format, right? We're talking about cutting the military budget by 90%, right? If you think about how reasonable that is, right? Is that how much of our, the reality is that when we get to a point where we get the masses of people understanding who we're fighting for, right? Who is it that we're fighting for and who we're fighting against? I feel like this issue can be used as another dimension of fighting, telling our people that we're here for them, right? So, there's a lot to be said in this argument, but I will say that, I definitely understand, and I really can understand why people, as a tactical argument, you could say, well, is this the proper tactic or what have you? And I think that that's a reasonable argument to have. I just would ask that people understand that we're trying to commonize people around something much larger, something that even imagining having people who are in a transformational way dedicated to overhauling the entire system, and telling people that that's not outside the realm of what's possible. Everything seems impossible until it happens.
Okay.
And I think this also, Jared, in a way, because you and I have had this conversation about reparations, and I think we are probably well, I think we're well aligned. Give me 1 second. I think we're well aligned in how this all works out. In my mind, reparations is not just about giving people a check. It is about giving a community a check. It is about giving education a check. It's about giving infrastructure a check. It's a wildly widespread need for adjusting how money is spent in this nation, taking care of the people that live within these borders that have been created, because we're here now, right? But I also think this idea of imagination brings us back to our conversation with Laura from last week and how she said you were right when we talked about part of the problem with electoral politics is people's inability to imagine a world outside of what we've been taught has to be what our world is. And I appreciate that has to be part of this conversation is, stop limiting yourself to what you have always been told or taught is the extent of what we can have, right? There has to be this room. And I when you said it last week, Jared, I was like, oh, yes, because there has to be room for that empty card, right? There has to be space for how do we do the thing that no one taught us about, that no one planned for us to do, that no one dreamed for us? How do we expand what we know our lives to be now, to be something that no one ever considered it could be, simply because we're always bound by the constraints of what the system tells us we can have and what we're allowed to get.
Facts. Right on. 100%. And everybody should go watch that Laura Sheeha discussion again if they haven't already. And
dope.
It's very dope. The book is dope. So yeah, well, Greg, thank you very much, man. I look forward to more, and we look forward to being invited to host the victory party.
For sure.
And so
can I plug something? If you don't mind, I just want to plug. We have a Black August showcase that we have that's commemorating Black August. It's our second annual thing. It'll be at the Beachland Ballroom on August 1st. So a commemoration, and the Cleveland's Revolutionary Gospel Choir will be one of the acts. Shout out to Papo and Wanye, a couple of comrades that we have that'll be. If you're in Cleveland and you want to have a really great commemoration, because we understand that Black August is not a party, but it's a commemoration of Black revolutionary struggle and sacrifice, and you want to rededicate yourself to the struggle. We're going to be out there at the Beachland Ballroom, and you can check us out on Cleveland PSL or the Ropes and Singers. Check out our Instagram, the Ropes and Singers, which is my little gospel choir. Check us out, and we appreciate the whole Black Liberation family, the chat. What up? Appreciate y'all.
And I just want to note, you were supposed to, I thought we were going to get like a sample. I thought that was that supposed to be Jared? Like, who was supposed to, I thought that was the whole thing. Like, we got weeks, you're going to give us a clip, we were going to get something. You forgot?
No, I ain't forget nothing. Hey, I'll sing right now. Okay, I'll put it down for you. So
let's go.
This is for Jab too. I'm gonna sing that song that we sing all the time. I feel like going on. I feel like going on. Though trials they come on every hand, I feel like going on. All right, y'all.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
I get chills, my man. I get chills. I get chills. And if I wasn't on a live, I might be tearing up. I can't take it. I can't take it. Salute.
All right,
salute.
Man.
Thanks so much, Greg. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be in touch to bring you back someday soon.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Peace, Greg. Oh man. And I'm telling you, the 5 heartbeats it's still, if not my favorite, top 3 film of all time. And when that scene happens at the end, I have to grip a seat and go through whatever devices I have to, or I will be. Because I saw that movie the first time. I saw it when I was in the Navy, when it first came out, and I saw it alone in a theater in Norfolk, Virginia. And I was messed up. I love that movie. So yeah, and I'm glad. So salute to Greg for hitting that, because that
was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. I had a little note, and I was like, "Oh, we're about to let him go. We didn't get nothing." So see, I remembered that. That's proof that I watched it, because you would only know that conversation happened if you watched the
original, the first, right, the prelude or whatever. Yeah. No, that was so thank you. Yeah, definitely, that was dope. I wasn't ready for that, and it did the chills. I get the whatever, the spine tingling or whatever.
The giddiness.
That song is powerful to me. I do love some gospel, and that song gets me every time. And particularly that scene in the movie, because of what it meant in the movie, and the way he performs it, and all of that. It's just so dope. I'm not mad at this idea. I'm not mad at this idea. What
year did that? Is that the 90s?
It's a 90s film, so it's not Imperial in the 80s. It would be early 90s. And if folks can, I mean, I'd like to try to find it again too. If you ever have a chance to see the documentary that Townsend made about the making of the film, it came out a couple of years ago, where they had like a limited.
I watched that. Yeah.
They even had a limited theater release, and they even had it here in Columbia, and I went immediately to go see it, and it's amazing. In fact, I need to find it again and watch it again, because as much as I love the film, the history of the movie itself is crazy. And the initial cast he was supposed to have for the film, I mean, all of that. Denzel was going to be in it. I mean, it was going to be, not that I'm mad at how it turned out, but and then why he couldn't get them in it. Like, there's a whole industry thing. There's a whole, man, I love that movie like I love few movies. And so yeah. The film of Yipper is 5 Heartbeats by Robert Townsend. And I'm again also encouraging people look for the documentary about the making of the 5 Heartbeats, which was revelatory. I had no idea. I don't know the name. It might be just the making of the 5 Heartbeats. I'm gonna start looking for it now. In fact, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna watch it again. I made my children. I watched it with my babies. Like it's. Yeah, so it's called The Making of the 5 Heartbeats, and it came out in 2018. So and it's on YouTube. Stop playing with me.
Oh my God. All right, so we can plan for that. We can plan for that. We don't have a full, I don't think we have a full schedule yet for the next couple of weeks, so we can speaking of which, I gotta circle back.
Apparently next week is Samantha and Dre.
Yes,
I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yes, because as everyone remembers, I had my snafu with math and trying to figure out the different time zones. And so right. So we had to reschedule. And Samantha and Dre were both available on the same Saturday. So we're going to reschedule and have them both come up.
So Zanzibar, I know you like to get at us about the ads, and I do set ads to run on Saturdays. And again, folks, there is admittedly the financial, limited as it might be, financial benefit of the ads, and to the cooperative here, to the channel and whatever. However, as I understand it, the real purpose, unfortunately, is to get it to be distributed. And there is a relationship, as I've come to understand, between ads running and the distribution of the video. So,
yes. They will allow it to run more if you do not remove the ads from it.
So I get it, and I
Jen saying that wasn't her that was complaining about it.
Oh, what? My bad. Oh, my bad. What did I say? Did I say Zanzibar? My bad. My bad. Whoever. My bad. No, it was Yipper. I thought I said Yipper.
Oh, there you go.
Because Yipper is usually the one giving me grief about the ads.
Well, Yipper likes to get grief. So.
And one day we're going to meet at the family reunion, and they're going to reveal themselves as my cousin. I don't know on which side, by the way, either.
Oh
my goodness.
Once Greg said they could not stay for the whole show, I was like, we haven't like just kind of kicked it with folks in the chat in a while. And so as long as you are not opposed, Jared, we can drop a link if folks want to come on.
Yes, I'm here for that. Here come the link
now. If there are questions that folks have or are yearning to ask or whatever have you, you can just drop them in the chat. Very quickly, and I don't know if she watches on another time and whatever, but when I was in New York, so when Laura came to town, remember she was on a tour. She went to like multiple places, and she did a talk at the People's Forum, and Tume was there, as was Avni, who I got to meet in person. Dope. She's dope. She also smells really good, which is like one of those things for me that, like when people smell really good, it like stands out in your mind. But while I was there, a lady came up to me, Lauren, and she was like, I'm so excited. I listen all the time in the car. I have a 13-year-old, and we talked for a little bit. And I want to shout out Lauren, because when these things happen and people talk to me and let me know that they watch and that it's like helpful or they get something from it. There was a gentleman at Laura's talk in New Jersey, and he was saying that he had a friend who watches all the time, and he watches, and he was really excited because he said to me, I want you to know that the way you and Jared engage with each other, and the fact that you all don't always agree, but you find a way to manage through when you disagree with things, like you're able to agree and keep it moving and still like have that camaraderie, how important that is for people who are watching, right? So all of these things within a couple of days of being reminded that like people watch the show, again, shout out Lauren, being reminded that like the fact that we get along means something to people, I think is important. So I appreciate you, Lauren. Shout out to you whenever you watch this. This was just I'm always excited when we have an opportunity to like bring folks in and have that conversation.
No, and first of all, I agree and I appreciate that. And for me, disagreement is a norm. So I don't take it for the most part, overwhelmingly, it doesn't descend into stupidness. That is the overwhelming experience I have. And with my closest friends, we have ongoing, even sometimes serious disagreements. But I think I've not fully ever understood how quickly things descend into animosity when there's just a disagreement on a given topic or issue or approach or anything. So yeah, I appreciate that. So we do have Keontae has jumped up. Are we
Let's
ready
do
to
it.
bring?
Let's
all
do
right.
it.
So Keontae, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh man, what's up, y'all? What's up? Can y'all hear me well?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny we talking about disagreements because on the topic of disagreement, I wanted to ask y'all some more about I Love Boosters. And one of my questions is, like, what was the issue with Boots Riley's view of dialectical materialism for y'all?
So for me, it was this bizarre connection to this like machine that they were running around with. Like the idea that like you can build something physical and using that as a replacement for understanding how dialectics works. And it just to me felt very much like a bad like it was a bad connection for me, and I feel like it confuses the conversation for people. Like if you really don't understand anything about dialectics, if you've never heard the term, if the whole thing is foreign to you, and you now are of the belief that somehow dialectics can be equated to a machine that moves things back into the past and undoes things that previously happened, which is literally like not what it is. I just feel like that was a bad use of what dialectic materialism, if you actually read about it, if you're actually studying it, what it actually does, like what it's actually about. So that was my beef with it. Jared?
That's certainly part of it. I was just trying to find something. I keep thinking of this scene that anyway, but the short of it is, one, especially after doing these study groups with Luna and EJ and Alchemy and you know, and using the BLA study guide in my classes and the way that they address, which is really my favorite, actually. I think we should bring more of that back into it in terms of how they address the understanding of dialectical materialism. I just thought that Boots's approach wasn't helpful, similar to what Renee was saying, that one, reducing it to synthesis or antithesis, thesis, antithesis, synthesis is an oversimplification. And then the way he did it doesn't explain it. And then using the shock value of having someone watch their parents mid-aggressive sex, I just think is, again, this is my bias, but I just think it's not helpful. It's just, that's just not the way I think. So, and I was thinking what I would love. So I was trying to, that film with Michael Fassbender that Mtume put me on about the Irish, Hunger, called Hunger. There is this scene where it's Fassbender and a priest talking at a table, sitting at a table in the jail, in the prison, having a conversation. And I think the thing is like 20 minutes long, and it's one, there's nothing, they're just talking, smoking cigarettes, talking at a table. And to me, it's one of the most riveting scenes that I've seen in a long time. It's just the dialogue, the acting. That's what I want. And I would rather have Boots, like what I would have rather, like I'm thinking about it, I would rather him have made a film about communists trying to promote communism in this world, where you could have had scenes where they're debating, how do we explain to people? Like, what if he even made a film about a communist trying to make a movie that, as he said, is going to be a matinee, or what is it, a summer popcorn hit, where you would have to watch people having a discussion about, how do you convey these ideas? What are the ideas? How do you convey them? And then what is the ultimate goal? Because so that's because what we ended up getting, I just think, was
and the problem is he can't make that movie. They're not going to allow it.
Exactly.
Right? Like he can't. Yeah. That's not going to be. That's
and
not
they
going to be
told him
approved
that
for the check, right? Like they're not doing that, and he's going to be content to take the check and not make that movie, which he's already proven, right? And so.
I was just gonna add that, like, I went and watched the movie like probably like last month or so, whenever it came out, And now, granted, I did get sleepy in the movie. Like, it wasn't that exciting of a movie like that. Even though I thought I enjoyed it, I gotta watch it again to see how I really, really feel about it. But one of my things to go on y'all point as well is that, like, it would have been a way more interesting film if he would have wrote it from the perspective of a communist or a socialist. Like, I feel like he leaned too heavy on like the mainstream aspects, like with the Kiki Palmer to the Keith Stanfields and stuff. Like, it's almost like he tried too hard to be cool with it and didn't go into like none of the quote unquote communist nerd shit.
Right. Which is, I think, the point, which is why the whole thing irritates me so much. But yeah. But appreciate you, Keontae. Thank you for coming on with your question
No
and
problem, no
letting
problem.
us
Thank you
letting us
for
dig
having me.
in.
And
All right,
appreciate the
peace.
support of the platform too, man. Thank you very much. Peace.
Oh man, I'm always support.
Yeah,
Peace.
appreciate it. Peace.
So someone asked in the chat, we do have somebody else waiting, but Eric wants to know if the Syracuse Renee was in school during the 96 Final Four run when the Q's is in the house. Oh my God. Yes, I was a junior. We watched it fully. We were pissed when they lost in the finals. But yes.
So was that a remake of
it was what was song was
When the
that?
East is in the House?
Yes.
Oh my God. Danger
Yes.
when the East is in the house.
Yes. So
that was a
Otis
great
and
track.
John were singing that, and it turned into a whole thing. So on campus,
When the East is in the house.
all
Oh my
the
God.
time, that's
When
what
the
we
East
would
is
be
in the house.
singing.
Oh my God. Danger when the East is, that was hot. All right.
It was
all right.
it worked well. It worked well. So yes. All right. So
Bukayo
Bukayo?
Snaka, are you staying off camera or welcome? But welcome.
Yeah, we stay off camera over here. I want to say, by the way, I appreciate you, as all good criticism should start off. Shout out to Dr. Ball and the myth of black buying power, and how that has actually cracked this head open a lot, and seeing how to analyze the structures that actually exist within hegemony, and how it participating in capitalism isn't going to end capitalism, right? So shout out to you. That was a really big eye opener for me, understanding kind of how your media critiques work and everything. Even though I do have to criticize you on Messi is the GOAT. That's undisputed.
First of all, you're witnessing why he's not and why he's about to get replaced right now. The beauty of the moment is we are watching. Well, I'm not, but if you are watching, you're watching in real time as Mbappe takes that mantle. He's already done it, really. And by the way, in far fewer games, do you know Mbappe has 20 goals in 20 World Cup games? And with one more, he passes Messi and becomes the leading scorer in World Cup history. And he's only 27 years old. So
the World Cup isn't the only competition, and you're comparing a 39-year-old Messi to a 27-year-old prime Mbappe.
Right.
That's
and I'm
kind of
saying
a
that in 39 years, he hasn't done what Mbappe has done in 27. That's my point. But okay, it's okay.
Hey,
Look, if you want to stick with the little Argentinian filled with steroids and raised in a country that doesn't allow black people in it, hey, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I didn't ask Messi to be the best. That is a terrible, terrible country. But what I actually really wanted to ask you about was, and this is for both of you. You were speaking before about the situation with boycotting Asian and the effectiveness of what does that do for the community? What is the gains? And it really got me thinking about, like, what are the structures that you think are most impactful when we do actually get those small windows of disrupting hegemony? Like when we have the chance to take an action, what do you think are the most effective ways to organize or lay down the groundwork for something that can be sustainable, retainable, and that can ultimately stand up against the system? Because obviously, as you were pointing out, stopping Asians from getting money in our neighborhoods isn't going to get us anywhere. So what would?
I don't have a good answer, so I'm happy to hear Renee and anyone else respond. I think that what I want is our goals to be different, and then how we get there will work itself out later. I want the goals to be about redistribution, about legit liberation, or even sovereignty, if that's the goal, but so that's and then I think we have to get there would require a level of organization and disruption that I don't know. I'm not equipped at this point to I don't know how to get there. I don't know, other than to continue and encourage people to join organizations and to work it out in rooms that are not on camera and on mic. But yeah, Renee, go ahead. I think you were gonna.
So no, I was gonna say that my answer is the same. Like, you used to give this answer when people would complain about your book, and they'd be like, "Well, what's the solution?" And you'd be like, "Well, I don't like. It's not really about me giving a solution to it." And I'd say, "But that is the solution, right? The solution is to depropagate, decolonize, get people to understand that all of the things that they think they understand, think they know, think they've learned, think they like, that all of it puts us within this box, right? This system that is consistently telling us what the limits of our abilities are as humans, right? And so for me, the most important and biggest thing that people need to do is to have these conversations. And I think part of what I always try to encourage people when I do things, when we have book talks, when we do movie screenings, when we do book groups, all these things, is to remind people that the goal is for you to expand what you understand beyond what you're told you're supposed to know, right? So every day we're given this limitation of what we're allowed to understand, what we're allowed to know, what we're allowed to, to get from our day-to-day lives. And I think we have to start pushing each other and ourselves to go beyond what those limitations are. So for the part of the reason that organizing is so important is because you have other people who can help you with these things, right? Who can help you with putting together an event so that people can come in, who can help you when you need to have these conversations about what you think you missed, what you didn't understand, where's the book that you haven't read yet. So for me, a lot of it has to be about being willing to do more than you did yesterday, being willing to make the time to read the book that somebody suggested to you that you haven't read yet, being willing to find the resource that exists that the system doesn't want you to follow, but exists already. So, join an org if you're not already in an org. You don't have to be an organizer and have it all together in order to organize something, like open a book. We must read Beloved. I gotta reach out to Hiram. It's been a long time since I talked to Hiram.
I haven't heard from Hiram since the Knicks won the championship. I'm saying, have people checked in on him? I mean,
I know,
is he all right?
we gotta check on him. But that would be my answer, and I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I really respect that idea of the fact that, and I say this often, that hegemony kind of colonizes our imagination. So there's all these like limit breakers put in, right? Like we can't even imagine what could possibly be. I think that the issue though is like for a lot of us that are in organizations, right? Like I always feel like we do a great bit of analysis. We do a great time talking about the situation, but it's the planning and the action of the situation in some sort of sustainable fashion, not something that gets us maybe something today, but something that will continue to get us something for months and years to come. And I think that's the most difficult part for me, trying to imagine what does that sustainable act look like, especially in the face of hegemony. Because, for example, I organize against the police down here, and we've been in the streets forever. I mean, I help a lot of the families that have had the unfortunate action of losing family members to the police, but we can't even get them to ban chokeholds around here. You know, so it's those things. It's like how do you act when you're occupied? You know, how do you
Right.
form these systems when you're occupied?
Right. And I would encourage outside of the every, the things that most people will do in response, like actual small community group conversations to talk about what people are not understanding about the involvement of police in their communities. Because what I find a lot with the abolition conversation is that people actually still think that police officers exist to serve and protect. They actually still think that calling 911 is the best thing to do in any situation where you feel any question or concern or whatever. And so investing time and energy into having conversations to break those beliefs are things that I don't see happening a lot as part of the organization strategy, but would actually help in building a community of people who believe that community control actually needs to happen. Because that's going to be, I find that to be one of the larger barriers, is people don't understand why it's even an issue, because people still think that serve and protect is a thing. People still think that community policing is a thing. So, I would say look into having those types of events and conversations and growing the actual understanding and the dispelling of the myth of what policing actually is, could be a path to go.
I agree, and I really appreciate your time. I don't want to take up too much of it. You guys have such value to the community. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate the support of the platform. And what is Pancho talking about here? Is this TDJ?
I don't know. I listen. I don't look. I missed that, and I'm mad that.
Sorry about that. Welcome, Herbson, to the platform, and Alchemy. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Oh wow.
안녕하세요, everyone. Uhuru Hotep. Wagwan, Sister Renee.
Hi.
It's great to see both of you. Great show, as always.
So,
thank you for all your work.
I know I can't. Well, I was actually excited to see Alchemy pop up down there, because one of the questions that popped up in the chat was, "Can you define dialectics, please?" I still don't get it, and so I want to encourage folks.
But specifically, Alchemy, right? Why is showing someone's
and making them dialectics? Sorry for the swears, y'all. Sorry. All right. So, long story short, Sister Renee and Dr. Ball, thank you for all the wonderful work you do. I love last week's thing with Lada Shia. Shout out to you, Sister Terry, Brother Carlos. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to Bukayo. Shout out to comrades Benji and Dwayne too. I only wanted to come on to say, basically, I think 3 pieces of dialectical wisdom I was kicking myself for not telling you and Renee, like right back when I saw you for our first beautiful, dialectic conversation. We need to have more of those, by the way. Please. You guys get those gears turning in motion about maybe making a regular show of that or something. I don't know. But I wanted to ask you and Renee 2 Africa questions. Don't worry, it's not going to be super long, Dr. Ball, like I'm known to do. But if you guys don't mind, and I will admit I didn't watch it, but I've been watching all the meta conversation around it. So I have some sort of an opinion. I wanted to ask maybe if you guys wanted to hear what I thought about Boots Riley and his explanation of parents conceiving people and having a history machine being an explanation for dialectics and what a proper one would be from the Vietnamese and Chinese style. I don't know. Is that okay if I share that with you guys?
For me, yep, absolutely.
Please do. Please do.
Okay, wonderful. Long story short, and again, I defer to everyone in the chat. You guys are all like more skilled, more praxeologically advanced in practice and theory than me, and in diamat than me, and in socialism, Marxism, anarchism. I'm a huge fan of dialectical materialism, and I've been studying from the Vietnamese curriculum and from our Chinese brothers and sisters. So don't think what I'm telling you guys is the only way to think about diamat or Mat Dia, or is going to speak over the BLA or the radical black tradition of diamat or Kwame Nkrumah's conscientism or anything like that. This is just kind of the East Asian side of things, right? So it may be particular, but Dr. Ball, Renee, you guys always hear me say this. I always stress this over and over again. I get tired of hearing myself say this. Diamat is the philosophy of everything is matter, and matter determines consciousness, and consciousness is just a type of matter that can reflect matter dynamically through praxis and labor, and it can impact matter. You guys know this, right? Your audience. I have been teaching you guys, because of your beautiful, generous offer for, getting to share the space with you all for the past 3 times. I haven't been teaching you guys diamat, right, Dr. Ball and Renee? Remember, more specifically, I've been learning with you guys the Vietnamese approach to the methodology of dialectical materialism, right? That's called materialist dialectics. It's a subfield of dialectical materialism. It's the applied methodology of how to go about transforming the world or transforming objective conditions or transforming matter. After dialectical materialism, the philosophy helps you understand matter, right? Diamat is the philosophy. It helps you understand the world. What is the world? It's all matter. Even mind is matter, right? Dr. Ball, that's conscientism, Kwame Nkrumah, right, Renee? Mat Dia is smaller. That's what Lunala says. People in the West don't, they get these two things confused. Mat Dia is a smaller subfield of diamat. Materialist dialectics is the methodology of dialectical materialism, and it's just a set of tools. It's a knowledge system, a set of concepts that help you go about interpreting the world as you're transforming it, right? Dr. Ball, I've been teaching with you and Renee and your audience 2 principles, the 6 dialectical universal relationships or category pairs, and the 3 laws of change, right, Dr. Ball? That's basically, when you ask me, Alchemy, what is materialist?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Just when he was about to get to it, too.
Just when he was about to get to it. So Alchemy, we're going to let you try to figure this out. And should we bring David up?
Yeah, let's bring David up.
All right. Yeah. And then we'll come back to Alchemy in a minute. David, welcome. Maybe David's not. And then Alchemy's back. So should we try to switch back?
Hi. Hi. Can you hear
Alchemy,
me?
we're going to come back to you in just a second. Sorry about that. We just go ahead, David. Go ahead. Yeah. David.
Oh, sorry. I'm hearing you in my other ear. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yes, gotcha.
Okay, sorry about that. Hi. Good afternoon. I mean, this is so wonderful to be speaking with you guys. I esteem you so much. Your work is so important and like necessary. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much. Happy to do it.
Okay, so my question, I have a question. So I live in Canada. I only moved here 4 years ago. I'm originally Nigerian, and more recently, I came to you, Dr. Ball, through FD, and I've been seeking to be part of an organization more and more. And near me, I live in Ottawa. Near me, there's there are not very many organizations that are actually radical in the, anarchist radical political organizations. They are mainly, I would say, the political parties are just DSA light, so to speak, and I did find an anarchist organization, but they're closed and they're not accepting any more members. I don't know if you guys had any suggestions, ideas, like people in the chat, Hi everyone.
So, and I don't want you to give your location away completely, but could you give me like a region?
Okay.
Like, are you in the Midwest? Are you on the East Coast? Are you?
Canada. The capital.
Oh, you're still in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Canada's tricky. I mean, you can certainly
tricky.
tap in. So Black Alliance for Peace is a national org, but it also works with international organizations. So you could probably tap in there. You can also look at an org that I used to be a part of, GPAM, which is the Global Pan-African Movement, and they're a North American contingent. So the members are everywhere. So I can, if you give me a second, because I want to make sure I give the right link, I'll drop that link in the chat, and that might also be a good place to start.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any good
you.
suggestions either. Yeah, but appreciate your support and coming through. And I might even just suggest you can always start study groups. You could start something small with one or two people that you
Yeah.
happen to meet or know there. There may indeed be an AAPRP chapter near you. Yeah, but definitely follow.
Sorry. I mean, it might seem like I'm asking like an obvious question, but I'm sorry. I'm originally Nigerian. Like my socialization was Nigerian. I've come to radical anarchist politics like very recently in the grand scheme of things. So I am like genuinely unaware of like, and I didn't study any of this in school either. So
No, I
so
get it.
yeah.
So now I know this is many years apart, and the digital world offers different opportunities. But I do think there's some value in the method that once upon a time seemed of value to me, which was showing up in spaces quietly and just listening while studying. So if you just start looking around the local community, if there are announcements for everything from book clubs to political meetings to even the local, like the I don't know how things work exactly in Canada, but even just going to like local board meetings, school board, like I would do a lot of little things like that. And in that, you end up finding the people whose politics you more appreciate. And then from there, start finding groups and organizations and plugging in that way. And I do remember employing some version of that when I came back from the Navy into a world I really did. And I had no idea where to go. But with the digital media environment offering up opportunities, you might even just start finding groups of radical diaspora Africans in that part of where you are. You might even be able to identify online spaces where you can find others, and then of course just stay in these spaces as well. And I'm sure whether it's the chat or the comment section or just the programming itself, you'll be put on to some other opportunities to build and meet with folks.
Yes.
But yeah.
Thank
But
you, Dr.
welcome
Bola and Renee.
and good luck. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Speaking of, like, I did find a book club for Sunday, so I will be attending that, and like, we'll see how it goes. So yeah, thank
There
you.
you go. All right,
And
right on.
Renee,
Thanks for
I
the
wanna
question.
I want to personally apologize to Renee for technically taking on the task of watching that god awful movie that is I Love Boosters. Because I didn't watch it and I will not be watching it. So thank you, Renee, for being the martyr for the class.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on with the question. I think alchemy's
Yeah.
back.
Have a good
All
one,
right.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thanks,
David.
David.
Peace, and good luck. And yeah, the sacrifices we make for the people. Welcome back,
Hey,
Alchemy.
hey, sorry about that, y'all. First of all, shout out to our Niger brothers. Shout out to all of our anarchists and our Canadians of color and white comrades in the struggle. Good luck to you, comrade, finding your community. That's oftentimes the best way your theory and consciousness can develop through practice. Two subpoints. One, Bukayo, I also love that you're a physics nerd, by the way. Don't think I forgot about you. I remember your correction, your loving correction of me in my last Saturdays with Renee's appearance on basically how I was being a dirty follower of Newtonian and Brownian physics. All you physics nerds in the chat, this is for you. Everyone else, please tune out for 5 seconds. Bukayo, I'm not anti-physics. I'm not anti-science or anti-materialist when it comes to the relatively recent updates in the physics and the general relativity and quantum physics world of how we go by Einstein's understanding of warped space-time curvature as the contradiction that defines gravitational orbits and rotations, not Newtonian bullshit of centrifugal centripetal. Thank you for correcting me, comrade, and holding me intellectually accountable. I'm not anti-physics. I actually was a physics nerd before I came into political science, so I appreciate you holding me accountable, friend. And I just want to say, Bukayo, I don't want to get lost in the chat because my mind is not very apt at doing that while I'm having conversations. But I saw chat, and all of you non-physics nerds, you can tune back in. Bukayo was saying something about space, time, energy, and matter. Bukayo, you're absolutely right. And as you're a physics background person more than me, I defer to you. But chat, in case any of you are wondering, what's the unity or the relationship between what Bukayo is saying and what Alchemy is saying about how everything's matter? By the way, shout out to not the CIA. It's just the shitty internet connection and my overheating phone that's made off of surplus exploited labor of the global South people. You know how it is, you guys. That's why they didn't get me. It was my own phone's shitty internal relationships that got me. Americanism, right, y'all? But you guys, Bukayo's correct. And what I said about matter and everything being matter, even mine, that's also correct. But here's the relationship between the two. Bukayo is correct in the sense of the particular definition of matter on the physical sciences level, on the physics, general relativity, quantum mechanics, chemistry, biology, the hard sciences. What I was speaking to you guys is even something I've been reading a lot of Kwame Nkrumah lately, Dr. Ball, shout out to conscientism. What Kwame Nkrumah is even saying is it's an age-old philosophical question of matter. Simply put, you guys, I'm not talking about matter the way Bukayo is. Bukayo, you're right. Everything is not matter. Everything's space-time, energy, and matter. There's a space-time manifold. That's what space and time are unified by. It's a four-dimensional topography we're all actors in, embedded in. And if you take certain theories to the logical extreme, it's actually a changing dynamic field that we're embedded in with matter. But that's neither here nor there. And Bukayo, yes, I know that matter and energy are equivalent, right? Everything that's got a physical mass that interacts with the Higgs boson field that gives it weight and stuff like that is just a condensed form of energy, right? Which is the ability to produce work, right? I understand the physics definition. You guys, my materialist dialectical definition of matter, the Vietnamese, the communist, is the philosophical understanding of what is there, Dr. Ball and Renee? What is there in the universe? Is there spirit and stuff that's not spirit? Or is it all the same thing? Even what we call spirit, mind, or consciousness, what people have evolved to call, you know, I don't want to get into the God conversation, Dr. Ball, but you guys understand what I'm saying, right? When I say matter and everything is matter, and even energy and space-time in the philosophical definition of matter is matter, and we don't have to get into that, Bukayo. That's not going against what Bukayo is saying. He's speaking from the physical sciences point of view and the particular, you could say the physical science definition of matter as a category. I'm speaking from a much more broader, you could call it universal, but the Vietnamese call it the more general understanding of matter as a category, which is, Bukayo, you got it. Anything that exists outside of my consciousness as an individual, including social relationships like capital, trauma, debt, right? Things that exist between people, like words, like the myth of black mind power, right, Dr. Ball? Like Boots Riley's incorrect promulgation of an idea of what Mat-Dai is. Anything that exists independently of a human individual's consciousness is matter, technically. It's anything that has objective existence outside of your mind. That includes other people's relationships too, and social things, right? And other people's thoughts and memories, like shout out to Brother Lark, what you've said in the chat before. That's what I mean, Bukayo and chat. I'm talking about the fact that the existence of the whole universe outside of any one subject has an objective nature. That's what I mean when I say matter. Mind is a kind of that, right? Bukayo, technically, in your sciences and your particular zone of analytical abstraction, mind is, consciousness is a field. It is a relationship. It is a relational process that emerges from multiple things communicating with each other, from human bodies and socially competent units or beings to your neurons, right? And everything in between. Basically, Chad, I'm only saying this to say me and Bukayo aren't saying opposite things. We're just saying different levels of particularity of the way to understand the category of matter. I'm saying the philosophical category. He's saying the physical.
Alchemy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. Ball.
With all due respect, we got someone else who wants to join us, and we only have about 15 minutes. So
I'm
if
so
you
sorry.
could, if you could for just now bottle up your Boots answer,
of course,
and then we can bring you back for a more full discussion another time.
Sorry, Dr. Ball. I just miss y'all, and I love that there's nerds.
Understood. It's all good.
Yes,
just try to be
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I will. I'll just give my Boots comment, and then I just wanted to share one thing with you and Renee, and then I'll go. And thank you guys for your time. I'm sorry, chat, for the rambling. Dr. Ball and Renee, materialist dialectics is the science of universal relationships, and it's the science of the laws of change. The Vietnamese understand materialist dialectics is a knowledge system that asks us to understand that everything in the universe is connected because it's made of matter, and everything is changing. And everything is changing all the time because it's being driven to change by a certain type of universal relationship that exists between and within everything, Dr. Ball and Renee. It's called the dialectical contradiction. It's a temporary unity of opposing forces. I understand what Boots Riley was trying to do. He was trying to show you that dialectical materialism involves you understanding everything historically. That's what he did with the whole time machine back in time. I think what he was trying to do with the two parents conceiving you, with the sperm and the egg and the conception, is he was trying to show everything's created by two things coming together to form a third thing. And he's trying to show that you have to be historical when you're being dialectical materialist. I think, you guys, that's kind of him showing certain elements of dialectical materialism. But Renee, to your point, when you said you don't like that, it's a bad connection. I think the way I would word the same thing you're saying, and I would agree with you, sister, is that he's showing elements of dialectical materialism as a method and an approach to understand. He's not really defining it in its essence. It's internal set of relationships that make it different than other sciences. And this is what I would do, Dr. Ball, in explaining the same question. Materialist dialectics is everything is connected and everything is changing. Everything is connected and everything is driven to change by the same thing, the kind of relationship called a contradiction. That's my long and short. And the only thing I want to share with you and Renee, and again, I defer to the chat. I didn't even watch the movie. You guys are probably better at explaining this than I did, but that's just my take on it, being trained in the Vietnamese style. Dr. Ball and Renee, very, very, very quickly, I promise I'll be quick. I just want to say, Dr. Ball, I know you're going through a lot in your life right now with the babies and the college and the empty nest. I just want to say that's natural because everything in life are processes of continuity, of going through quantity shifts until there's a rupture and there's a quality shift that happens, a break, a transformation. I just want to let you know that, remember, materialist dialectics teaches us, even when things go through quality shifts, Dr. Ball, the negation of the negation teaches us that every quality shift will always retain aspects of the old. You are Dr. Jared A. Ball. You're the myth. You're the writer of The Myth of Black Bank Power, and I Mix What I Like, and the host of many revolutionary media channels. Your babies grew up with that kind of person as a dad. I'm so jealous of them, right, Chad? I think that no matter what kind of accidents and situations and paths they will take in college and beyond you and your wife's wonderful home you gave them, I think there are certain necessities that are going to involve them having been raised in such a household as yours, and they will retain that no matter what kind of different paths and quality shifts they go through. I want to share that with you, Dr. Ball. I know that wasn't here or there, but I want to say that last time. Renee, very
I definitely
quickly,
appreciate it. I do have to say it does not help at all.
I know I wasn't trying to, but I just wanted to give my little. And Renee, one thing I wanted to tell you, I never got to tell you, was I don't expect you to have an elephant memory, but when you and I and Dr. Ball first had our talk, you were talking about how you might not live to see the revolution. And you were talking about kind of the conversations you get to where people are saying, how can you care about politics and revolution and your kid and your family at the same time? Remember that, Sister Renee? I never got to tell you this, but this is just a little bit of my Marxism I want to share with you, maybe as a moment of, collective kind of trying to process these kinds of moments. One, Renee, it's crazy because Lenin said it himself. There are some times in human history where years happen. There are times in history, Renee, where there's years that happen in weeks, and there's other times where weeks happen in years. And what Lenin means by that, Renee, is that human time is a very tricky thing. No bukayo. It's not like physical time, like space time. Human qualitative social time, Renee, it's crazy. It doesn't flow in the same way and with the same density at all times. And the only thing I want to bring up to you, Renee, is that when we get closer to quality shifts collectively in the movement of human societies, time seems to speed up. Things seem to happen more fast. We see this all throughout history if you do your studies. So Renee, when you said you might not live to see the revolution, I just wanted to remind myself to tell you, you may not, but at the same time, Renee, there's years where weeks pass and weeks where years pass. So don't count yourself out. Maybe the last 80 years we lived through as a human species is going to be like the next 15. So you might just live to see the revolution too, Renee. So never count that out. And I wanted to say too, it might be slightly
Uh-oh. So Alchemy, we're gonna have to we'll revisit.
Well,
and
he's due to come back anyway, so we'll
right.
get
He's on the schedule.
We'll get that
so
back. Yeah. And I have the somebody asked about the show that he's been doing with Dwayne, trying to break down AI and dialectics and all the work that they're doing. And so I'll track that. I'll track that down because I do think it is dialectical house party, but I'll double check and make sure that I drop the link in the chat. But Chitty's waiting, so let's
Chitty Maka, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Hello. Is my internet okay?
Yes, you seem fine to me.
Oh, okay. It's interesting that you ended on AI because that was like something I actually wanted to, I guess, ask about. If anybody are wanting to prompt people to pay attention to the way these LLMs are being rolled out in education, because I am alarmed at what I see just even at a post-secondary institution, a community college, but the way that it's being rolled out, students entering in, like I'm sure it's happening in middle schools and high schools, even in elementary schools. So I guess I just want to prompt to start paying attention to that because it feels like it's just another layer of dumbing us down, of creating ways that we won't be able to think. So I don't know. I guess I'll That
No,
was where I
the
wanted to
short
start.
answer for me is yes, because not only what you're talking about, but you know, is uh, with my university spending tens of millions on developing AI that they say will not impact our jobs, but will help faculty better educate our students. Speaking of Dwayne Monroe just sent me something his wife was working on uh, in response to Microsoft's, I think Gemini, is it Google's Gemini? I can't remember.
That's
Being
Google.
Google's Gemini being imposed on their university. And while so maybe we can bring all of this together with what Renee was just talking about, because Dwayne and I were talking about doing something around that at some point. So maybe we can just bring him here to talk about all of the latest with AI and education, and you can join us too, for that matter. So yeah, but his wife has just produced something like a well organized response for her institution. We have Google took over our email, but we don't have their Gemini system, and apparently Morgan is going with a different system. So we were talking a little bit about that, but the point is that does seem to be the goal. And then of course, from what I've been learning from a number of folks, is that this is part of the techno-feudalist attempt to target all existing institutions as insufficient. And I know for some of us on the left, this causes some interesting contradictions around the neoliberal institutions that are being attacked. But obviously we don't want them replaced with Peter Thielian, AI run, you know, everything. But the goal is they want to undermine democracy, undermine institutions, undermine the concept of higher education, undermine the concept of professional academia, peer review. All of this is being undermined, from the liberal arts to the sciences to medicine. And and then when I see, just lastly, even, you know, people like Kayleese and others talking about we're bringing AI to teach my kids and in homeschooling our children with AI. And she's doing that doing that in Kenya and promoting that globally. I'm like,
And it's very scary the way, because like where I work, like students are turning in like AI submitted papers, and I was always like conscious of like, how would I be able to tell that a paper is AI generated? And I didn't know until I saw one, and it was just like very grammatically correct, structurally sound, Jabberwocky. And it's just like, oh my God, like it's
the best way to know is to
very,
talk to your students. If you talk to your students, you could tell. Like,
oh yeah,
I know you did right there.
everything
So,
the student was telling me. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just real quick. So before Jared calls himself planning anything with you, he still has to finish reading Palo Alto, because we have not had, which I actually feel like would run into this conversation very well, because
Yes,
as
it
we
would.
think
Yes, it
about
would.
the historics, like the whole historical narrative coming out of Palo Alto and how it's impacted technology and how it's moved into AI, I actually think this works well. And also, I owe Chitty put together a whole thing so we could talk about financial aid, scholarships.
What's the name of that book again? Though I don't
Palo
think I have.
Alto.
Just called Palo
Yeah,
Alto.
it's the name of the town. It's
Malcolm
a good
Harris,
one too.
Palo Alto. It's also where, if you listen to Kamala Harris's book, that 107 Days, throughout it, several times she mentions that her sister lives in Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, I mentioned that's that corridor of like Santa Clara County, which is Palo Alto, San Francisco to UC Berkeley. That's that corridor where I contend that the U.S. is being run from, because under capitalism, you follow the money. And so that's not,
and it's amazing the amount of Jared. I think you're going to be equally shocked at the amount that came out of that one area, because I was shocked.
Well, I now have the book, so I'll get started. But then, since we're calling each other out, Renee, you owe me a view. You got to watch Loving.
I've seen it. I've already watched it. I told you that.
So I have to watch it, and then we're waiting on me.
Yes, I've already seen it.
Whoops.
But if it makes you feel better, I owe Chitty, because she pulled together all the information for us to talk about colleges and scholarships and all this stuff. And I was going to pull you in after I had time to look through everything first. So that's another thing. But we're gonna do that as like a that'll be a Patreon first, and then we'll release it to everybody else. But I do want us to make sure we have that conversation, and you definitely have to be part of that.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Chitty, you good? Was there anything else?
I think that was it. I just wanted to mention about, I want people to start paying attention to the AI, because it's really, for me, I'm very alarmed at the way that it's being rolled out. Like, from one source, I contend, Bay Area, but like the way that it's being done, it's just seeming like it's this, I don't know, kind of stochastic inaptitude that's like here, but it's coming from a source, and it's deliberately being rolled out, but it's done in a way where like it makes me like afraid to grow old, because it's harder for like older like where I work, like older students and who actually know how to think, who actually know how to write, who actually just have to kind of revive and regenerate like that, the things that they were taught and learned as younger students, as adults. But then the newer students, you see the stark contrast, and they can't do the thinking, which means they're also being trained in high school of how to just let the brain relax and let the machine take over. And I think in a couple of years, when whoever in high school now, like within a decade, when if the empire's still standing, when they're in the workforce and whatnot, and we're going to really, really notice it. And at that point, it's going to be too late. So I say that to say, right now, if your kids are in school, read. If you got 10 minutes to read with them, kids are very food oriented, get some food out. We're going to read this article or read this whatever. If you do that for 10 minutes a day, something to counter what's being done, because they're also not being made to read whole text in schools. And even elite Ivy League colleges are noticing it. It's not just regular like campuses that serve working class students. So I am very alarmed. I'm sounding alarm bells, and I sound crazy to people around me. I'm doing too much, but I'm not. So
that's how you know who your enemies are, the people that tell you you're doing too much, thinking too much. And I'm like, that if you that's the first thing to do if you ever want to end a relationship with me. Tell you, Jared, you think too much. We're not friends anymore. It's over. That's all you got to say. Thank you, Chitty.
Thank you. And folks in the chat are recommending The Charisma Machine by Morgan Ames. The Charisma Machine, which is about tech education, and so I'm gonna look into that one as well for that future conversation. But I'll keep it going. I think we missed the super chat. Robert Brown, thank you for the super sticker.
Thank you, Robert.
Appreciate it. And also David brought this up, and I think it's worth highlighting. The People's Forum is running another socialism summer class. It starts 7/21, and they are doing a hybrid version, so you can join from all versions of things. I'll track down, because I did get a link from Taji for this, so I'll track it down and I'll add it to the show notes. But thank you, David, for the reminder. I always like doing. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this is from Catherine Williams, by the way, who I've been doing this cult of consumerism sort of special series with. So salute to her and folks. In fact, the full unedited, the full whatever consumerism, cult of consumerism is going to drop today at 8:00. I'm going to drop the whole thing with her and Cam tonight at 8:00. So if you have nothing to do or want to come back later, check that out. But her work is very good. She's recommended another good book on the history of how we got here in terms of financial literacy and consumerism. And her channel is of value in that discussion as well. So salute to her for that.
That those videos are already tagged. I gotta watch the.
It's
the
just wild. It's
with
just
you
more
and
of what we're
Tume.
doing here. It's just
It's a
so
lot.
the motherfuckers are just so shady. They're just so shady, and
I didn't even tell you. I've been getting letters from Nielsen because they want us to participate in some kind of survey thing. But you know, they send money with the like a single dollar or $2. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, do they track those dollars? Like, once you, like, if you give the dollar to someone else, like, will they know that you gave?
Oh, I don't know what they do now, because that's been the system for a long time of paying.
But they've sent us like $4 over the
Yeah.
past like year, trying to get us to fill stuff out, and
yeah.
It's
I don't know if they track the dollars, but they have there's a long scandalous history of them doing this stuff. I remember with the PPM meters, and they were downplaying Black radio's audience, which was messing with the revenue. I mean, there's all kinds of shady stuff with Nielsen and what these numbers are really meant to tell, and how they extrapolate from really the handful of people that they survey, these big grand.
Right. Because I'm like, who's answering these for you to get to these numbers that you're always claiming you know?
Usually they only target around 1,500 people. And that's been the case historically, going back decades for determining ratings of television shows and everything. So I do remember the quantitative experts would tell me that is an appropriate sample size, but it always just seemed
super small. I mean, with the hundreds of millions of like it's a wild. That's why the whole survey thing has always been very like murky for me, because I'm like, I just feel like you're not asking enough people. So how do you really know that the information that you're getting is representative of the massively larger span?
And now we're in a worse world
to represent, right?
Because I just watched a discussion of Netflix, and these platforms. If Netflix is exemplifying anything, they don't really tell you what their numbers are like. So you don't really know how many people are actually watching the shows that they put out, which in the context of the video I was just watching, negatively impacts the actors and the writers and the people who might want to get some residual payments or whatever. But how do they determine the numbers and what I don't know. And Netflix is like a proprietary, top secret.
Right. And I still need to you just reminded me. I still need to read To Order Ogle. You had the young lady who was doing the internships at the ad agency.
Total Market American. That's another one.
That's another one that I have to. All right.
They just all of it, and we can rap on this. They're just playing in our face, and that's why we do what we do, and that's why we have to do what we are not doing, because they just playing, and they put it anyway. So,
well, Jack, thank you for being flexible. I actually meant to give you a heads up, like, we should just do this for the second half of the show, and then I totally
works, and I like it. I think it's a good idea. Well. We can always plan it, and whenever we can even just schedule a whole whatever to do that, because I think it's dope. And so thanks to the guests that came up, and apologies for the brevity, and we look more forward to the build. Of course, salute to Greg Levy and the PSL and all the other great work being done by them and others and our associated comrades. Please like, share, subscribe, support the Patreon. And again, salute to the undefeated chat and the undefeated, uninterrupted continuity of Saturdays with Renee. And with that, peace, everybody. Only if you're willing to fight for it, as Fred Hampton used to say. And we will see you next time with more Saturday with
Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member. and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.